Hello everyone and welcome to ZPR, Zanu Project Rethink. My name is Franck Zanu and I'm again back in the studio with my favorite co-host, Nancy Forvil. Nancy has become a regular because of her passion, a passion to do with national community, people. You know, she's just, if you know her in person, lovely, lovely, lovely. Look, we read your comments, and some of you should be very careful because Nancy is Haitian, okay? No, you should be kind. She's a wonderful person. I've known her for so many years. Nancy, welcome to ZPR.
Thank you for having me again, Frank.
Yeah, how have you been so far?
Good, good. I'm just enjoying the rest of my summer.
Any travels this summer yet?
Yeah, I went to Grenada. I had a couple of my cousins come visit me from France, so that was lovely.
Oh, wow. Great. All right, so you did send me an email and you said that you haven't heard my views on the recent, fight against crime?
Yeah, the fight against crime in D.C. So President Trump had deployed our National Guards to D.C. to help with violence and, neighborhood crime.
And
so I was thinking about what were your views on Trump's deployment on having the National Guard go into D.C. and to help with destabilizing.
Yeah. Okay, well, yeah, I didn't want to do an episode on it because, I always want to talk about things that, I'm more passionate about, that concerns, affect me, my people, people of my color. But a couple of mails I received had the same. So when you call and say you want to, I said, oh man, she's right. Many people said, look, we know you have a certain different way of looking at things. So talk about it. So I'm glad you brought it up. Yes, I live in this country. So it's a good topic to talk about. In the beginning, I was a little bit worried myself when he said he was going to deploy the National Guard.
Why?
Because I was like, oh, come on, dude, is that bad? But I began to think about the days I've been to D.C. and my friends would say, hey, listen, man, we would have gone here to eat here, but it's past 8, we can't. Okay, maybe tomorrow. Mm-hmm. Now then it came to me, you were at the Catholic University of America for 4 years.
Yeah.
Right down D.C. Mm-hmm. You were there when the Pope came to visit.
I was
So
actually.
you've had an experience with D.C.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Take your mind back, even if it's just 8 years. Were you students on campus really, really concerned with the crime?
So I was in D.C. from 2005 to 2009.
That's correct.
And prior to going to D.C., I did visit D.C. A year before that, just visiting universities, interviewing. I thought I would do early decision on a couple universities. And so I remember one visit in particular was with my dad, and I was in Northeast D.C. And I remember as soon as we got off the shuttle, we went to go visit this particular university. I'm not going to say its name. My father looked to his right, he looked to his left, and he said, you know what? This is just not the place for you. I'm originally from Connecticut, born and raised, and I lived in inner city. I lived in suburban areas as well. But I knew my dad was very concerned about just the area of where this university was.
Yeah.
Now, fast forward 2005 to 2009, I remember, as a student, of course, you would go to different neighboring universities just to visit friends and use the libraries and stuff like that. There were a couple of neighborhoods that our RA and would advise us not to go into, simply because there was just a lot of gun violence, a lot of poverty, So at the time, in 2005 to 2009, my school is located in Northeast DC. However, Southeast DC is an area in particular that is of concern.
Yeah.
A lot of cops are in that area. Even in Northeast DC, now Northeast DC has definitely gentrified and is very different. There's a lot of development, there's a lot of commerce there. So it's definitely different now, walking onto that campus and walking onto different neighborhoods and communities within Northeast DC. But Southeast DC has still predominantly has had those issues of crime and gun violence.
So when I said I was a little concerned at the first, yes, maybe because I was also swept by the hoopla that was on the media. So it made me to think, the National Guard? Come on now. But I took time to watch a couple of the news reels, especially the liberal media platforms. And I started asking myself, so the problem was not that the president said, look, the crown jewel of this country, which is the capital, which all foreign visitors have to come to,
Diplomats,
should not
dignitaries,
have this number of homeless people and crime. And therefore, and plus, DC is not a state, right? It's not even supposed to have a mayor. It's supposed to have a city council and a city council president who would act as a mayor. But, so it means the executive, which is the president, whose White House is in DC, somehow you can accept that he does have some authority over the capital, which is a federal capital, and he's the federal executive. Why not? So the problem was not that people were saying he should not fight crime. The problem was that he said he was deploying National Guard. If Trump had said, hey, listen, I got some money in my pocket, I have a couple of guys I'll give money, they will make sure that all these kids stop coming out and carjacking and burglarizing and killing people. Nobody will say a thing. The reason is because they said he was deploying National Guard. Therefore, the fear that he's going to be a dictator who is using armed people to control us. However, here is where they were wrong. When there is a disaster in a civilian community,
emergencies, disasters, yes.
National Guard is deployed. Nobody had a problem when they deployed the National Guard to Katrina. Did anybody?
No.
Exactly. So it's a disaster, isn't it? But there are two types of disasters. There is natural disaster, which means an extreme discomfort. Fear has been introduced into an environment. What happened in DC, or happened until recently in DC, is what you can call a social or a civic disaster.
I'm not sure on how grave it was, but it seemed like if you're deploying it, that means it must be so serious.
That's correct. And I'm saying that the people are wrong by saying that because it's something to do with civil, that he shouldn't deploy. But I'm saying disaster, the reason they deploy National Guard to the disaster site, do you know why?
Yeah, it's if there's an emergency, they usually, especially in let's say Connecticut will deploy National Guards especially for hurricanes.
Yeah, but why do they send National Guard?
To keep the peace.
What peace?
So, well, not just keeping the peace, but sometimes they move things and they help and assist.
Whenever there is a disaster, the place becomes vulnerable to looters, thieves, drug dealers, traffickers, because they know you are vulnerable. So the National Guard is keeping eyes to make sure that these people are not taken advantage of. What happened in DC is a social disaster. When you have too many people in the street with guns, breaking into people's car, mugging, killing, shooting, an intern, his whole dream ahead of him, get killed senselessly, you have a civic disaster.
Right.
So, the same thing they were trying to prevent at disaster sites, which is nobody should loot, steal, kill, or kidnap, is the same thing they're trying to prevent. But two things. One, it is because it is Donald Trump. Two, this fake label that he's going to be a dictator, therefore anytime he said, I'm deploying National Guard, nobody even questions, should it? I think that he did the right thing. What he did is this, and he's smart in this way. He sent a signal, knowing very well many citizens are going to see the result in DC, and they're going to want it for their blue cities across the country.
Such as?
Chicago, Baltimore, Detroit, and many, many other places.
You think Trump should deploy
the
National Guard in those areas?
Though that is not for me to say, because there is a constitutional protocol that may say that a state is a little autonomous to a certain extent.
But things are bad there.
No, but I'm saying that the protocol of the Constitution provides that the governor and the mayor should be able to, until they invite the president to send them help.
Well, the president recently did reach out to the governors.
No, it's not supposed to reach out to the governor. The governors, if they feel like they cannot handle it, they reach out to the president. That's the protocol, which the Constitution guard. if the president suddenly has the power to decide which Navy SEAL goes into which city and kick ass and shoot people in the head, then you have a problem on your hands. And so that is why he cannot just willy-nilly get up and say, LA, you are next. No, he's not going to do that.
But he has suggested.
What he has done is he has activated the curiosity. Everyone, I've seen many videos now, people walking around with cameras saying, I can never believe that I will wake up one day in DC and walk so free. There's a guy with his dog said it's been 7 years, he has never left his apartment to just walk because of the corners are always people standing. And he made a video and he was so happy. So cities are saying it now, and if you may not see it, the Chicagoans are now asking, begging almost, started with the rooftop revelations, the pastor who is on a rooftop in Chicago, saying that many of his parishioners are coming to him saying they should plead to Donald Trump to send in the National Guard. Labor weekend, do you know how many killings? 5 dead.
This Labor Day weekend?
That's correct. 37 shots.
37 shots. How many people died?
5, according to. You understand? Wow. So should he deploy? No, because the Constitution, there's a governor. The governor should. But I'll tell you something. The Chicago mayor is screaming out on top of his lung that he doesn't want the National Guard. Common sense will tell you, we know that your police have tried for years.
Right.
You know very well the National Guard would actually bring peace. But do you know why he is pushing back on Donald Trump?
Why?
Because once you allow the president to deploy National Guard to your city, and he does clean it, you have given your opposition ammunition against you in the next election cycle. They will have no other message but point you to all the people and say, this is the mayor who failed to the point. It was the president who have to deploy National Guard.
So it's a personal thing, not
no, it's a political thing.
A political thing.
Because if you have, even when disaster hits, some governors and mayors
are hesitant.
They are hesitant because they want to prove to their people that, you see, I promise you, I will protect you. And you see the wonderful job I did during the disaster? There was a disaster in Florida, I believe, or somewhere, where they were deploying National Guard, and they said, no, we didn't ask for it. Now, Katrina and Sandy.
I think when people hear National Guard, they're also thinking the worst of the worst. And so they get nervous when there's any National Guard presence.
The reason they get nervous is this. It is true, the National Guard are trained to be able to bring temporal peace to an area, okay? So you bring the peace while people are looking for a long-term solution. That is all Donald Trump is trying to do. Look, I got to put my foot down, starting with my own city, D.C. 1600 Pennsylvania should not be an eyesore. We all know it's an eyesore, especially after 7 p.m. 8th Street, an eyesore, with half-clad women and guys and drug and crime. D.C. is a district of criminal, maybe. Yeah. To be honest with you, it got that bad. Yes, I have friends who live there. It's a dangerous city. But what I'm saying is, if the mayor allows him to come, and he's not stupid, he knows, but if he goes there with the National Guard, and the National Guard actually clean up the city, he has given his opposition ammunition against him, meaning you have failed. You are inadequate to lead as a mayor. Because it's your job to have prevented it in the first place. Look at you. You call on the president like a sissy. This is the selfish political reason they push back. Otherwise, ask yourself, he never said, if I send you the National Guard, I'm going to charge you $200 million to pay me. Where you say, listen, we don't have the money. That will make sense. He's just simply saying, yes, I accept we have a crime. People are dying. Children are being killed every day in Chicago.
Right.
So what is the rationale for saying don't bring the National Guard? Think about it.
I think.
Which mayor wouldn't rather want people to say, do you know he was smart enough to ask for National Guard? He saved us. No, he has an opposition waiting in the darkness just for a little weakness to use against him. That is the reason most governors and mayors would push back on the president. Unless it's overwhelming like a disaster, some of them would say, even they don't even ask, the government knows, FEMA will say, okay, let's step in because, of course, there is a duress or stress in this environment. So if you listen to the liberal media, it's really very wicked. See, black mothers in D.C., when their kids step out, their heart beating fast, would he come home alive? Yes, the data is there. They are being killed every day.
Chicago
Not by
the same,
police,
yeah.
not by wicked people from some Italian country, by their own people. The president said, listen, I will create a little discomfort for a couple of days, but I will clean up the crime. Your child won't die. Guess who went to the street to protest against the president saying, I'll protect your children from dying?
Who?
Well, of course, the same people whose children are being killed daily in D.C. That alone should tell you that there is some selfish motive behind it. Who wouldn't jubilate and said, finally, please, clean the place so my son will see his 18th birthday? What justification is you to... Okay, police are in the streets of every city in America, isn't it?
They are.
Okay. We see army barracks everywhere. Okay. The National Guard are Americans who've been trained to say, protect your people. What is the fear? None whatsoever, except it's all political. They don't want him to win points. Because if he cleaned blue cities in his 4 years, he'd turn and flip those places red in 2028.
So you think that's the real concern?
That's a real concern. Which sensible person in Chicago will want to vote Democrat again?
I think they'll still vote Democrat.
No, they won't.
For whatever reason.
Don't take Americans for this. When they see real result, yes.
So once these National Guards leave, do you think we're probably going to be back to normal?
He did say something. Bowser even accepted it, the mayor of D.C.
Okay.
Now, she finally was on television saying, I am grateful to the surge. She didn't use the word National Guard. She decided to use the word surge. I am grateful to the surge because, yes, indeed, it has worked. Everyone will tell you right now.
So crime has decreased.
Yes. But what is happening is the National Guard are going to be there for a while. But I believe right now the city council and the city officials and the Department of Parks, and they are putting into place what can we do to sustain what we have built with the National Guard. National Guard are never used permanently.
Right.
Okay, they are always emergency and disasters.
Exactly.
So as we speak, I'm sure that many departments are getting together to find out. One, there could be a push campaign quickly with incentives, okay, for more people into the police force.
Okay.
Yes, that's one. More police presence on corners with cars for rapid response. It reduces crime. We've seen it in many places. So.
I mean, when I was in D.C., there was a time where the students and I, we were going to some get-together, and we were lost, and we were Southeast D.C., and we went into one community, and we were just asking the cop, where do we get to this place? And he said, you should have left yesterday, which means we should have left that area since a long time ago, since yesterday.
Wow.
We shouldn't even got into that area. There were cops, there were not flashing lights, but bright lights in this community to deter anything.
Yeah.
I really hope that, this deployment will help start different conversations.
Yeah, many people have saying it, not just Republicans or even some are saying, yes, we can see it. I mean, she confessed. She gave a speech and said, I'm grateful to the surge, okay?
To the surge.
Because it's worked. This Labor Day weekend, there would have been the same number of homicides in D.C. as it was in Chicago. Everything was quiet and beautiful. Listen, I'm for all. I have no crime to hide. So you can put 100 National Guards with a Rambo-style gun in their hands in front of my house, and I'll walk past them and get in my car and drive and go where I'm going.
But it doesn't seem intimidating to you?
Intimidation goes to those who have something to be intimidated by.
I understand.
I know why they were deployed. I'm a citizen of this country, and I trust in the American system that this is not Haiti and this is not Benin in Africa, where these soldiers will turn around and start looting the neighborhood. No, they won't.
They're here to serve and protect.
Yes, Americans, men and women in uniform, take their country seriously. They take the life of their citizens seriously. So if there is any reason for which a president should deploy National Guard into my city, I'm still going to my club, my restaurant, and do the things I do.
Which people are doing, because I did see a couple snippets, and you see people at the bars, you see people...
Were you here during the 2010 flooding of Bridgeport?
Yes.
The snow, the flooding, which took half of the south end.
Right, right.
Okay, what happened to people's properties?
They were ruined.
No, looting. People were going into people's...
people were actually looting.
and then carrying television on their head and walking away.
Oh, wow.
It was a shameful sight of my people. This is what we did to homes. So finally, what did they do? They sent in the National Guard. So from the arena to go on Broad Street,
wow,
you have to go through National Guard. And suddenly they stopped. Should I have a problem with that? No.
No.
They didn't come because of the water. They came because of the looting. So if you have nothing to hide, sure, put your National Guards in the street. They won't talk to me, I won't talk to them. And I will do what I always do. That's it. And so, but yes, I'm glad you brought it on. And we should be aware of this. For those who are out there listening to this thinking, no, and then these stupid people go into the streets would ask these close-ended questions, which the person you are asking doesn't have enough information. Do you support Trump bringing National Guards to your city? You see the question itself? It's a close-ended question, and it's really stupid that you can tell clearly, you know what answer you want to get from this person. This person, before you ask him or her, have listened to the media, the Don Lemons who have nothing to do, and just want to be relevant somehow. So he's going to say no, because his friends have said no at his workplace, with no additional information that makes sense. So he has to only say no, because if he say yes, he knows you're going to ask him more. So he will give you the answer to shut you up and you can go your way, but he said no on television.
I think people were looking for an alternative to the National Guard. I don't know exactly what they were expecting. The cops weren't doing, the cops weren't able to really do what they can. So maybe they were just expecting,
No, they do not.
A
No
task force.
civilian in D.C. ever sat down and thought about, oh, National Guard, no, it's not good. Why? This reason, this. Did anybody tell you why a National Guard in the city to help you maintain decency and peace is wrong? Exactly.
No.
So what I'm telling you is there is no such thing that deploying National Guard has any security threat or compromise at all in our lives. It is the opposition who doesn't want him to win brownies because they know that National Guard, they know the job they do. They knew that they will clean D.C.
right, and potentially,
yes, activate other citizens in other cities to be calling for the National Guard. They know that. If he succeeds in cleaning even three out of the 10 bad cities, he will flip it.
So shouldn't the governor of Illinois just kind of piggyback on it and just embrace it and say, you know what, maybe this could work.
It would work, but then he's giving ammunition to his opposition.
He's not giving ammunition if he takes it in a different way, if he accepts it and embraces it in a different way.
Well,
So listen,
politics is not like that. You've disappointed your constituents.
it's not disappointing.
Who are
It's
against
recognizing there is an issue. I may be against Trump. I may not see eye to eye with him. However, there is an issue, and I'm going to take it. I'm going to take a step forward as governor, and I'm going to embrace it and say yes. We need this temporarily until we settle, until my city gets our major cities gets to its point, and then we'll create a task force.
In a sensible world, yes. Political world is a dog-eat-dog. Your opposition is just watching any dance you would have with Donald Trump.
But the opposition will also have the same issue if they also do not embrace it.
No, they want to get office and deal with that issue. First is to topple you and let me get into office. That is their concern. Number two, the governor looks at the constituent that has been already poisoned by the opposition and by his own party. And they are all against Trump. That's why they are a blue state in the first place. So for you to even, look, Bill Maher has been Trump's #1 critic,
yeah.
Severe one. But he did something that told me this man is intellectually sound. Finally, when he was convinced to visit the White House, he said, look, I will. Otherwise, I have no credibility to continue criticizing this man. He goes to the White House. Didn't say I was going to vote for him or I'm going to befriend him. He said, let me go have dinner and hear from him firsthand and then come back and feed you. What happened the next day? On The View, John Lemon, Joy Reid, MSNBC, what did they call Bill Maher? Exactly. Was anybody happy to say, yeah, Bill, thank you for doing this. Please come back and let us know. Are we dealing with Satan or are we dealing with, no, nobody's interested because, Bill, if you go
and say,
and you change your mind about him, you've got a lot of people. This is what Trump...
But it's not just Bill. There are other people who came out and said they sat with him.
Yes. And they got a flack, just like he got. They wanted to call for the cancellation of Bill Maher. Okay? He was so furious, like he thought when I come back, they will ask me, tell us. No, nobody is ready to change. That is what the Trump derailment syndrome is about. See, we got to be careful. Once you start hating somebody or something, with no reason whatsoever, you will always cook up and find reasons to
hate.
Yes. Because you don't know how to get out of it, because you are looking for reason to get out of it. But you are not alone. You've established among your family and friends that you have reasons why you hate him. Now, going back to explain to people you've changed your mind is people think the weakest thing for anyone to do. So the better yet,
continue to hate?
That's correct. That's correct. So mothers know that if we clean DC, my son has a chance of finishing high school. But if it is Trump who is going to clean it, hell no. Yeah, I'll find a way to discredit him. We live in a very sick society.
I mean, Trump does the same thing too, you know. He likes to discredit people.
Well, we're talking about politics.
Well, yes, it is part
but
of politics.
one thing I know about him, okay? If you never call him a name, he's not going to talk to you.
He won't come after you.
That's correct.
But if you start with him, bring out your vote.
You better know how to end it. You better know when to fold it.
Right.
Trump is not an aggressor. No. No. But if you want to start something against him, well, hey, listen, unfortunately, he's not the conventional politician as we all know.
Right.
Because he believes and has this really arrogant confidence that I know what I'm doing and I can fix it.
I think that's what also people are upset about, the audacity of it.
Yeah.
The audacity of bringing out the troops. Like, you couldn't fix this another way. Why did you bring out the troops?
No,
you know?
That's too much giving them credit. Everybody who has some brains know that you don't fix a 100-year-old crime-ridden city with any other alternative. What, give them biscuits? Or send nurses to feed them with milk? Or distribute drugs to them? Or give money to some department to buy all the drugs from them? What is that measure? That will be quick. He's saying, when you have an emergency, a disaster, and I have coined this thing going on in Baltimore, a social disaster. Detroit is a social disaster. LA is a social disaster. How many days more do you want to wait and see people die? And the man said, nobody should die. And I know how to do that. Send in the National Guard, which means increase the police force with National Guard for a certain number of days. The people will go into their rooms, clean out the streets while we are looking for a permanent solution or alternative. That is what every sensible person should do.
Why didn't he do this before in his first term? Enough is enough? He's just tired of...
No, that was first term. You know, he was in court, Russian collusion, people won't let it. And then he was focused on COVID. So already we were all... yeah, so a lot of things were piled up against him in the first term. He couldn't even get to that. But now he come in, you know...
And he's learned a lot.
He's learned a lot, and that 4 years was necessary. This is what tells me that this man is providential. He was made providential. He was made to lose that 4 years in order to take a back seat, watch it, and let the people see the difference between him and this before he comes back. And he has made a history, the comeback kid, better than before.
That should actually be studied.
He loves his country. That is the truth about it all. Anybody can say whatever they want. Number two, have you ever known or seen any popular person, that appears on television and is completely loved by everyone?
Ronald Reagan? The
No,
last
come
one,
on, what
Bill
are you
Clinton.
talking about? No.
People love Ronald Reagan.
No,
People
no.
love Bill Clinton.
I am saying to you, if you had spoken to people, it's called parasocial relationship. Somebody begin to appear on television. You don't know what it is. You just can't stand him. Parasocial relationship is very powerful and it's dangerous. Only those who know about it. Okay? I have that feeling sometimes about some celebrities whom I have never met. I've never had dinner with them, don't know anything.
But you just hate them.
I
Well,
just
not hate them,
can't
just
stand them.
see
In my
them.
comment section, every day, at least 2 people will say, I hate, they write their hate in all caps. I hate this guy. In my comment section. You know why it doesn't affect me? I know parasocial relationship. Yeah.
you understand it well.
Yes, I understand why they're feeling that way. It is nothing I've done against them. It's just a feeling that comes with people who show up on a tube, which means television.
Well, if you have me enough on this show, then start with me too.
I think he's there already.
Oh, is it?
So yes, if you have the chance, I think we should stop this thing we're doing. But it's not going to stop. As long as you have the opposition, you're going to have these kind of talks. But I say if there is a natural disaster, we should start looking at what is happening in Detroit and Chicago and call it the name it is. That way we can solve it quickly. Start calling it a social disaster or a civic disaster. For that, if we call it that name,
People
we
will more embrace it.
exactly, and send in the National Guard. And that is what I think he has done. And soon, I promise you, it has activated people already, sensible people in Chicago asking that he should send in the National Guard. Yeah.
Yeah. And hopefully we get some peace and
Yeah.
eventually a plan, an action plan to really eliminate crime in those areas.
It will take an effort of the whole, or maybe we would, good people like you and others who are thinking more positive and not putting politics in it, they will do it.
Right.
Because this is the only stain on America, that people will just die. A kid, 17 years old, to be shot in Chicago. Rappers have guns more than the military with drugs and bling. I think it's the most lowest form to look at anybody. And then smash and grab a 30, 40-year-old business by a family, jewelry. Then you smash it and grab everything. And then they go into bankruptcy. We can't continue. It's too long. This has been going on in America for too long.
Not only that, for insurances
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
affecting business.
Big time.
Right.
Business is folding up from these communities who are already stressed, but you refuse to call out things. Then the courts will allow him out in 2 hours, and he has his middle finger against the police who just arrested him. And the police are stressed. They've left the cities because of the defunding. And we did this thing too much because we hated one guy. And hating that guy, we have spoiled a lot of social order in America. To the point, if you decide to call out these people, you can be canceled.
Right.
Okay? And know what is funny and upsetting is that it is in fact those who are affected by the situation are the ones who are canceling people who dare says, I can provide a solution. No, don't criticize me. Don't criticize my children or my people. Okay, right now, you and I, you know already, you've seen my comments. People are calling me from all over this country, black people, African Americans, for somebody simply describing what is. Check it out. That they say it by themselves, how they lost their culture and their identity, just like it happened to us in Africa when they formed the countries. We lost who we were. Now we are trying to be a country that is not there. And for you to simply say, I'm saying from what I know intellectually, that a people who are taken from their roots always lose their culture, which in other words says, therefore they don't have a culture. And I'm getting almost death threat on this from African Americans saying that I don't. But if you watch my next episode, it's all Gen Z young boys who have traveled from far to just come and see me. And you know our history and the history of me and the majority, the large number of African American students who have looked up to me once upon a time, whom I gave the opportunity to see abroad and travel to Africa, all through me. But these people would not know it. And this is why many people around the world just can't stand African Americans. Seriously. You are really irritating. You have no right to say nobody can criticize you. because you don't own the African American as an institution anyway. So for me, I'm doing this because I care. And I'm going to criticize. Socrates did it to his own Greek people, but they benefit from it. Many societies that are developed today, they were criticized by their own citizens, philosophers and all. Let's change this very, very unproductive attitude. Thank you. And to the good ones, subscribe, follow us, like us. This is ZPR, Zanu Project Rethink. Thank you so much for coming, Nancy.
Thank you so much, Frank. It's a pleasure.